Several congressional committees want answers as well, and justice where warranted. They are launching their own investigation into what went wrong with a hearing. Possibly that will begin as early as next week. And Republican Congressman Mikewals of Florida is with me in person. He is a former Green Beret commander and a member of the House Intel Committee himself. Great to see you. I haven't seen you in person in a while. This is a terrific venue to have this conversation. They're going to talk safety later tonight, make America safe again. How about keep America's presidents safe? Plural. I mean, yeah. I mean, right? So what do you think about this moving on to the Hill? What will we see as an American public?
Well, I'm on the Oversight Committee. We will have Director Cheadle, the Secret Service Director, before our committee next Monday or Tuesday under the leadership of Chairman Jamie Comer. And look, I came out on Sunday after talking to agents directly involved with the president's detail who were frustrated, angry, upset because they had repeatedly asked their headquarters for more resources for Trump's detail and were denied there and denied at DHS. And then Mayorkas goes on CNN and says Congressman Waltz is irresponsible and that's false, which essentially he's saying his own agents are wrong. So we will get to the bottom of it. We're going to put a spotlight on it.
So what you're telling me now, you're confirming this all right now on the Faulkner Focus. You have spoken with people that he also could be talking to. Right. So he knows what the truth is.
That said, in writing and verbally, they have asked for more resources for Trump. He is not your typical former president. You don't just give the same security package to Jimmy Carter as you do to Trump with his residences, his rallies, and not only domestic threats, but foreign threats from the Iranians who are openly talking about trying to assassinate him as well. And what happens when they don't get those resources? Well, you're reliant on local law enforcement to supplement, like the building where the shooter was. And we all love our local cops, but they're not trained to the level of the Secret Service. And I predict that is going to be at the heart of the matter.
So I want to look at this. It's a group of 27 Texas lawmakers and candidates for office who wrote a letter calling for one state Democrat, Jasmine Crockett, to resign. They say it's because she co-sponsored a bill in April that would have removed Trump's Secret Service protective detail. And that bill was introduced with veteran Democrat by Bennie Thompson, who yesterday was defending the bill. He said in a statement, "My bill would not have affected the Secret Service's presence during this tragic event." The bill aims to automatically bar Secret Service protection to anyone sentenced to prison for a federal or state felony conviction. Well, that's why that bill slid in, because it was right around the time of the 34 convictions against Donald Trump. Not only would it have affected that, it affected him. It would have affected him. It was aimed at him.
Bennie Thompson was also the chair of the Jan 6 committee, I'll just point out. But I wonder if they feel the same way about Hunter Biden and pulling his Secret Service detail away, as he's a convicted felon. So we didn't see any push there. Look, this was partisan politics.
Well, he still has that protection.
Of course he does. Yeah. Of course he does. This was partisan politics at its worst. At a minimum, they should publicly apologize. They should call President Trump and apologize. I think we should put censure on the table personally for these members. These are people's lives on the line, and the detail should be commensurate with the threat. As members of Congress, if we have our lives threatened, we can go get additional security. But this is part of the vitriol and the demonization of President Trump personally and his MAGA supporters that came directly from President Biden's mouth all the way through the Democrat Party. And clearly one 20-year-old was so convinced that he tried to kill him.
I want to just ask my team if they can pop up real quickly. I'm sure you've seen some of that video that shows that there was a gunman on the roof. Yep. I mean, and you're seeing it all over social media. We've got a little bit to show. I want to get your take on that, because it appears to show that there were several minutes before shots were fired that this whole thing could have been foiled. It's on the screen now. What is your take? And I know you're studying this because this will be part of your investigation, I would imagine, on the Hill.
Well, number one, what happens, the core security detail is supplemented by local Secret Service field offices, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, what have you. I want to know how Vice President Harris being in Philadelphia near the same time affected resources, but also were supplemental resources requested? Were they denied, like these agents were telling me, and therefore made them reliant on local law enforcement? You had one cop standing on that roof, and the sniper couldn't get up there. And then I could tell you, as a Green Beret, He was in what they call dead space as he was coming up that sloped roof. And the counter snipers, I don't think, just looking at the imagery, could see him.
But people on the ground could, and those local cops could hear those people.
And as soon as you call in gun, 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 the president's off the stage. That's how it should have worked. So we have a lot tactically to work out, but I give nothing but credit for his close-in detail that body bunkered him and put their lives on the line. I suspect strongly this was a headquarters resource issue who said, we're not going to get all these agents for all of his rallies. We're not going to exhaust our budget because Trump wants to run around.
And I would imagine the punitive damage for that person would have to be you lose your job. I just wonder if there's any justice.
No accountability for Afghanistan. No accountability for Secretary of Defense disappearing. I don't expect accountability.
So you just went right away to international. Let's go there. My exclusive interview with former President Trump at his home in Mar-a-Lago. As you know, it aired, or happened rather, just hours before an assassin tried to kill Trump. So we were together for hours. Then a couple of hours later, he was already in Butler, Pennsylvania, and we know what happened there. One topic we talked about was foreign policy, specifically our staunch ally in the Middle East, Israel, and its war with Hamas terrorists. So Israel versus Hamas, the terrorists. Biden has said he'll deal with Hamas, and there has to be a different way. And I don't hear him talking about the hostages, so I want to bring them into the conversation because those lives, those 120 or so.
Obviously, the first thing is we want our hostages back. You have to let this war finish out. It's got to get finished. It's got to be done, because otherwise this is going to continue to happen, and it's going to happen more frequently. You take a look at what Biden has done. He's run it so badly. He's trying to be friendly to one side. He doesn't know who. He doesn't know what he's doing. Look, let's face it. This would have never happened. They would have never attacked. This is money that came from Iran, and they fed Hamas. They feed all these terror groups, Hezbollah. Iran was broke when I was president. They were broke. There was no terror. There were no attacks. Take a look. You can check the facts. Iran was broke. They are the purveyor. They are the ones that finance terror. They finance terror. If China bought from Iran oil, which they were buying a lot, I said, that's okay, you can buy, but you're not doing any more business in the United States. We go cold turkey, no more. Israel would have never happened. The October 7th attack would have never happened. Again, Iran had no money. It wouldn't have happened. And they had a certain fear of me, or respect, or fear, or something.
That interview, by the way, was over an hour long, so you'll begin to see more and more of it. And so we move into foreign policy. The president and I covered so many topics. You were nodding at certain points there. What's on your mind?
President Trump nails it. The core of the issue is Iran and Iran's cash. And as long as they're flush with cash by selling their oil around the world, mainly to China, they're going to continue to fund Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. This will never end. We have to go back to his maximum pressure campaign, which dried up the cash. And if China keeps buying them, we put secondary sanctions on China. And I guarantee you they'll stop buying Iranian oil. It is all about Iran. But Biden is obsessed with humanitarian aid into Gaza because of his progressive left. He's treating a symptom, not the core disease. And President Trump absolutely knows what worked. What would have prevented this attack and what we have to go back to.
Well, and what President Trump said to me was, while you're putting that pressure on Iran, it gives time for Israel to go ahead and finish the job on Hamas, which he told, and viewers got to see that portion of the interview yesterday. He feels very strongly that Israel needs to finish what
Under his administration, we had reporting from Hezbollah, Hamas, all of them, that they didn't have any money. They were all complaining that, where's our money from Iran? We can't do anything, right? That's the core issue.
Representative Mikewals, you bring so much. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Good to see you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.